Turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
Hey, how's it going? That was a weird delay, but we are back to discuss. Hold on, let me. There's something I have to fix. Hold on. So I am back to discuss Ted Lasso, and I guess I'll bring it back on. But D, how's it going?
Good. Look, I let you be Stradamus last week, so let's not even start. Let's go get this started. You know what I'm saying? We can switch positions if you want me to just take over because I'm about to run a victory lap. Let's do it.
Look, you got like half of something right. You got like half of something right. Like you got like Kendrick, please. Like you got like
You
like you
are
like
player haters.
like you got like a vague assumption correct.
Turn your head round.
Like
Get on the ground. You've
are you
been robbed. You are a hater. You are a
anyway, let's get into this
hater.
episode.
A big old hater.
Are you done?
On your head is so large because there's so much hate stored right in this area. Uh, so much hate. So much hate.
It's it's filled with football knowledge, and I feel like I have to start off by explaining just what's going on with this episode. So, all right. I'm pretty sure you have no idea what the FA Cup is, right?
Mm-mm.
All
Mm-mm.
right. So I'm going to break down the major tournaments in like English football specifically. So, as I said before, the just like a team could get relegated, most teams want to get into the top four because if you get into the top four, then you're eligible for what's called the Champions League. This is like the best of the best across Europe, like the top leagues in Europe send their top teams to the Champions League. So also in English football, there's a tournament that because okay, so because you're preoccupied with the Premier League and you're preoccupied with the Champions League, there's also another tournament that big teams kind of don't care about, and that's the FA Cup. It's a big deal for smaller teams because they can win a trophy, and you want to win a trophy. So yeah, the FA Cup is basically as Ted wonderfully described it, a March Madness tournament of like the Premier League and Championship League teams. Oh, I shouldn't say Championship League because that's the actual name of the tournament. Excuse me. So championship teams. So they play each other, and it's actually very entertaining because every now and then you'll see like a major top team get like dragged by a championship team because the championship team comes in, they're like, hey, we're just gonna like, what do we have to lose, and they're playing all wild and stuff, and they might catch them off guard, like, so you might have a few occasions like that, but yeah, that's the FA Cup.
So like the whole Cinderella stories and all that stuff from Mad Men. I mean March Madness is like that in that big.
Yeah, because unfortunately Manchester United like did struggle with a very with the championship team before. So it happens. It happens occasionally, but
Oh, every now and again.
mhm.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing, though, right? Keeps things interesting. No.
Yeah. So but yeah, this is a big deal because we start off the episode with basically them going on a streak of wins because of the Roy Keane effect. Like we see like a cool little montage of them like going through like some wins. They're obviously picking up momentum, and is solely because of Roy. Like at this point, so D, like we kind of talked about it a bit, but you can kind of see like Nathan's like yeah, like he doesn't really like the arrival of Roy Kent, does he?
He does not. He he's still very passive about it though, which in this instance, I think him being passive is a good thing because Roy hasn't done anything wrong. Roy is a coach. And if you're jealous of his success or the way that the team relates to him, that's personal. That has nothing to do with Roy. Roy hasn't done anything to you specifically, Nate. So I'm not sure what his situation is or why he's acting all, nuts, but what it is, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, so like I said, he fancied himself to be like the tactician, but Roy has come in and like he's really energizing the team. Like there's that scene when they're at practice and they're like, "Hey, it's the Roy Kid effect." So yeah, obviously he's having an effect on this team, and he's a legend, and whatever he says, like people will listen to. But we get a resolution to something like much quicker than I thought. If you haven't noticed, the name of this episode is The Signal, and we'll talk about why later. But um, D, did you expect the Jamie Roy, I guess, if we could call it beef? Did you expect that to be wrapped up so soon?
No, but I'm actually glad that they went ahead to like get it out of the way, I guess, in a way. Because the same time that Ted said, "You're the coach for the whole team," I said the exact same thing.
Mhm.
I knew it was gonna come to a head, and I'm glad it did in the way it did because it wasn't confrontational to the point of fisticuffs or anything. It was Jamie just kind of humbling himself, which I didn't expect. I did not expect him to do that, but I'm glad he did.
It is funny that Roy said, "Well, take 4% of my
I
paycheck."
know he was really like, "Well, whatever. I'm really not the coach of the whole team. I'm the coach of everybody
Yeah.
but Jamie." So, it just kind of like shows you how much disdain he has for Jamie, though. Jamie Tart
Mm,
has brought it on himself in a way, but Roy is also just like a ornery old man. So it's kind of a,
mm.
a, it's not one side. It's not one of them making a bigger deal than the other one. But in this particular instance, Roy is in the position of power, so he was able to just kind of, And again, Keeley is the one that told him what to do.
Mm. Also, I want to ask you about this. I'm gonna stay with Jamie for a little bit. Um, and he didn't do it in a way that kind of like undermines Ted, but at the same time, it kind of speaks to Ted's coaching style, and I wonder if it'll come up later. Um, so when they finally do have to break through, and Roy is like, "Fine, I'll coach Jamie," and Ted asked him what's wrong. Um, yeah, Roy says you've ruined him. You took away
Yeah,
the one thing that made him who he is. Like, do you think they'll pop back up later?
got him passing and shit. um, I thought it was funny that he said it because it. I got the perspective. I guess what you could say. It's like he's saying you've taken pretty much the dog out of him.
Mhm,
They call it. He says it's a prick, but it's more so the like willingness to win by any means necessary, even if it means showboating, even if it means taking over. So I think he may have misspoken about him turning him into shit because I still think Jamie needed that because of course that extra pass is what got him what he needed last season. He just needs to know how to handle it. And I'm glad that came up too because Jamie was like, "Well, when do I know to turn it on? Like I don't I have both these things now." So he's like a Bruce and a Hulk at this point, and
mm,
he has it inside of him at the ready, pretty much. And they just needed to let him know that it's okay to turn it on sometimes. And Ted did kind of take that away from him. He made it seem like it was a bad thing
mhm,
to get into the other team's heads, to be a jerk sometimes. But that's just because Jamie was doing it all the time.
mhm.
So he just needed balance. And I think that's like I guess in some ways a metaphor because that's why you've got Ted and Roy. You need both. You do. Because you can't just
But
be super passive and you can't be super aggressive.
so there's a question I want to like wait and save for the end of this episode, but you know what? We make the rules, so I will go
What
ahead
do
and
you
ask
want
it
to do?
now. So you have Roy Kent, this legend who came in and uplifted the team, and now they're on a huge run. And you have Nate the Great, who, his tactics alone helped them win the match. So yeah, where does that leave Ted going forward? Like, and yeah, that's all I've been thinking about.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it.
Let's just go ahead and get
All
into it.
right.
Yeah.
Start my victory lap. Now, you asked me what was gonna get we were kind of trying to spitball and try to figure out what was gonna get Ted into seeing Sharon.
Mm.
My number one theory was that he was gonna have another panic attack. Boom. What do you have? Panic attack. Now, that's not just something that's just out of the way. It's not like I dug deep and figured out to the writer's brains because we've talked about this before. The writers are doing a very good job of leading you where you need to be. So
Mm.
it's not like they're throwing it in your face, but it's there and it's subtle enough that they can call. They're doing very good callbacks. I'll say that. So he has this panic attack, and my first thought was he was on a plane back home. Like I thought he was gone. Like I really
Mm.
did, especially when I saw his jacket on the ground. I was like, Ted is leaving. Um, but it's kind of in a way, I think, setting it up so that he can leave. Because my thought was, you got Nate, you've got Roy, Beard is there, but they kind of got the coaches they need because they won the match without Ted. Clearly, like he was literally gone, and they won. So it's like in a way, it feels like they're setting it up so that Ted leaves and everybody's okay, even with Rebecca, because I still ship them, but maybe not as much. I guess.
So, all right. So I'm trying to figure out a way they would do this and not. And okay, because I'm all for taking risk, but I'm trying to figure out a way they would do this that would make sense and not like jump the shark. But as you said, Richmond obviously has the managers they need already. Ted was kind of wondering like what the hell he was doing there in the first place. I mean, are they better off without him? Like, what
And
is he doing there? And people are going to start calling for Roy Kent to lead the team.
see, you said that last week before
Uh-huh.
before he even started his winning streak, and they immediately, when Ted walked off, they were discombobulated and what they allowed them to score, right?
Mhm,
So it automatically went back to him being a wanker, like
mhm.
boom, there it is. It's Ted's fault. And my only question is, like at this point, what set him off? What do you think what was the panic attack about?
So I feel like that was just a really like tense moment because it was like a really high pressure match. So I think just being in that moment and he almost like snapped out of like the Ted character. He looked around the stadium and heard the cheers and he, and he couldn't like blur that out anymore. So I think just the pressure of the moment got to him.
I was thinking that too, but okay, so the last time he had a panic attack, it was because he had to sign his divorce papers. All right.
Hmm.
When they were in, where were they? I don't remember where they were, but at
They
karaoke.
were at Liverpool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Liverpool.
At karaoke, he lost it, and Rebecca came and calmed him down and, got him to the point where he could at least get back to his room. Well, this time, earlier in that day, he got a call from his son's school about
Oh
his
yeah, I
lunch.
forgot about that.
And it kind of freaked him out, but he calmed down. He was like, "Oh, his mom is there." So I don't know if it's necessarily his son that kind of caused it, but it feels like he might be thinking that they're like, and again, remember I said I think they were gonna come back. The Christmas episode would come back, how they're kind of
Mhm,
living a life over there without him and they're fine. I
mhm.
think that may be a part of it because it's like their life is going on and his son is there without his dad. I think that is something that is in Ted that's going to bother him more than he realizes or more than we realize because like you said before, we've only heard him talk about his dad during a dart game.
Mhm.
So obviously father son relationship means a lot to Ted. I'm thinking it had something to do with that maybe. I mean the high pressure situation of course is what did it, but it just seems like this isn't the first high pressure game he's been in. I'm thinking it maybe had something to do with that. Maybe. Maybe,
No, no. Now that you mention it, that would make sense. That would make sense. Yeah,
maybe I don't know. But I was happy to see him finally going to talk to her because he needs to. Like it's very clear
yeah,
he needs to talk to her for sure.
yeah. And just the way that scene played out, like the way they were intercutting, like the different like locations, make you think one thing. Like it would have been creepy as hell, but like part of me was like, wait, is Ted at like Rebecca's
Rebecca's
house?
house.
Yeah.
That was my other guess. So I'm like, he's either on a plane, like at the airport, he's on a plane. And when they show, like you said, at her house, I was like, when she looks up, he's gonna be sitting on her bed,
Mhm.
which is way out of line, but
Yeah,
but it
like
could have happened.
fire him immediately.
Yeah, like right now. Seriously, he should not be in your house. But I'm so glad they didn't do that because that's not cool at all. But of all the places he did go, I am happy that he went to her office. And I'm kind of wondering, like, what was he gonna do if she didn't come back? Was he just gonna sleep there?
Just sleep there, I guess.
And sleep it off? Okay.
Yeah,
But they won. So yay.
they won. Oh yeah, so let me explain this quickly as well. So, um, like D, are you familiar with the concept of parking the bus?
Mm-mm.
All right, so parking the bus means you like really condense your starting formation. So like basically your midfielders are sitting right on top of your defenders, and your forwards are like, because we call them forwards because they're, on the other half of the pitch across the byline. So they're like, up trying to score, but we would draw them too. And it's almost like we just make like they're all like just really
And
tight.
lie.
So
Okay.
not even a line, like you, like instead of like having space in your formation, like you just bring them closer together.
Okay.
Like almost like think about in like American football with like a goal line defense. That's basically what parking the bus looks like. All right.
Hmm.
So what Nate did was actually brilliant, and is a nice little touch of like soccer, I guess, strategy in here. So we have Tottenham, who is allegedly like a stronger team, and he said they needed a goal too. So what he knew, that them being the more powerful team, they would go in the attack, even though you know they were parking the bus. Richmond was parking the bus. So the moment that they went for that, they did a counterattack. So by the way, like the plus side of parking the bus is like you basically draw teams in. So they were able to break out of that and basically speed past the Tottenham team and score a goal in the counterattack. So it was actually pretty cool. So shout out to Nate the Great for parking the bus, because opening up the formation, which is where Rory wanted to do, probably would have left them open for another goal, but parking the bus allowed them to attack on the counterattack. So shout out to Nate the Great.
I was very proud of him. He was assertive and he did not take no for an answer. And I was also very proud of Roy because he allowed him to do it. He
Mhm.
didn't like there was no ego, there was no, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. He just backed up and was like, let him do it. I really, really like that. And I think again, like you said, that's gonna question where Ted's gonna come in now because he was nowhere in that situation, and Roy and Nate handled that very well together. And
Because
I
you know
mean,
what's
Beard
wild?
too, but still,
Yeah, you know what's wild about that?
uh,
If Ted was there, he would have been like, "No, Nate."
I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it because he's been doing it recently. He's like very very much
Mhm.
underestimating Nate, and I don't know if he realizes he's doing it. It's kind of like Nemo. You can't do it. You
Mm.
can't do it. It's like yes I can. So I guess the other question about them is if Ted it doesn't fit, does Beard fit? Where does he fit in? Because he knows more about the game than Ted, but what about coaching?
I mean, so I do think Beard brings something of value, because they make it a point to show us that Beard is like leading a lot of the drills and stuff. So
Hmm.
from a coaching standpoint, I feel like Beard has enough that would cross over into this world. Oh man, that is. I really wonder if they're gonna go for that though, because that's pretty ballsy. If Ted Lasso is just like has to step down,
Like, but Rebecca's not gonna ask him to step down
he would do
unless,
it. He would do it himself.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless it's like a medical emergency, which honestly it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And she's seen him have a panic attack before. So
Mm-hmm.
she knows what it's like and how paralyzing it is because during the game she knew what it was. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else thought he had to like go and, pull a Paul Pierce, but she knew what it was and she immediately went down to comfort him. Now, with that said, that brings me back to me shipping them, but also being okay not shipping them. And the reason I say I'm okay with it is because they're very much showing us that there's like no jealousy whatsoever, or we're not seeing any jealousy whatsoever when it comes to Rebecca dating and being with these other people. None at all. Ted is like, good for you. And she has no problem like telling him these things or let him know that she's involved in dating and all that other stuff. Now, the counter to that was she did call him for a pep talk when she was about to talk to her mother, but it didn't feel like a romantic, I'm reaching out to you because I love you. It was just legit like, I need to talk to my friend because I need a battery pack because I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to confront my mom. If they're just friends, I'm actually okay with it. What will be weird though is Rebecca and Sam
Sam will
over
be
in
sad.
Sonya.
Oh, that was
Sam
ah, that was
over Sonya, what?
yeah, that
Now,
was.
all right. So we were talking about it, so I went back to watch,
Mm,
and there's not a part of the show that shows that they have any kind of like fiery chemistry, but they very much have a cute relationship.
mhm,
And by cute, I mean it's almost like she cares for him in a you're just a darling porcelain doll and I have to
mhm,
protect you kind of way. Now, he mentioned, like I said, it was back in season 1, but when he asked her to come to their burning ceremony thing, he was talking to her and she was just like, "Oh," so he was like, "Oh, no, 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 it's not romantic. Like it's it's not that, even though I can see why you think that because you're very lovely." So I'm like, "Okay, so the attraction's there." But he was just like, "I just need you to come because you're a part of the team." And I heard her say, "For you, Sam, I will." So I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. Her goddaughter is in love with him. So that's also interesting. I don't know how that would play out. And then you mentioned that she told Keely to kind of like promote him more.
mhm.
So there's something there. And again, it could just be like a almost maternal love that she has for him, which is going to make it even more awkward when
Oh
they find out. Because Sam doesn't know either, right? Or does he?
no, he doesn't know. He
He just
has no
knows
clue.
she's into soccer, but he doesn't know it's her.
Right?
Ooh, that's gonna be weird. Because they like each other. Like the two
Yeah,
personalities like each other very much so.
yeah. Oh, that is yeah. That is going to be so. Ooh, that's going to be so odd.
They can't date though, right? I mean, like she's the only. Can they date? Can they?
They could do something.
Can they? They can do some
Not
things. Can
not not
they?
not
Like,
date
can they though? Is
because
it?
hey, think about this. Like Rebecca does like him young.
She does. She does. But see, okay, so Keely doesn't. I won't say she doesn't count, but Keely and Roy are different because Roy's a coach. Keely's in marketing, so she's that's something else.
Yeah, but the owner of the
But
team,
the owner of the team, like this,
because think about this. So the fact that she basically told the guy from Dubai Air, I'm not. Yeah, I am not. Getting rid of Sam,
I won't
and
do it. Yeah,
yeah, and now with this. Yeah, not a good look.
See, but I mean, it's not a good look, but being that we're kind of like on the inside, it seems kind of unfair. Like, what if they really did like each other? It would be unfair that they wouldn't be able to date each other or
Mm.
whatever else. The biggest part, though, of course, is the conflict of interest because if they break up, I guess, what happens then? She's not really involved in the team, so she really wouldn't have much to say, I guess. I guess.
Nah, she
I don't know.
nah,
I just was not expecting Sam. I almost wish I had said Sam on a fluke just so I could be right. But I never would have guessed Sam ever.
but
Never.
it makes sense because of how polite Sam is. It's almost like Ted-esque. So like they make it a point to show us like their text messages and it reads like Ted, but we forget that Sam is like that nice and polite as well.
Oh, I just want to round off my victory lap by saying though, I did say that it
You
would be
did.
Ted. But I just
Yeah, you did. You did. You did.
just saying.
You
But
did.
I just think it's because they just made it so right in your face. And like you said, it would
Mm,
have been too on the nose. So I want great things for Sam because I am like Rebecca. Like I just he's just lovable and he's just sweet and he just seems like a kind, gentle soul. And I want good things for him. I don't know how this gonna work with Rebecca because clearly they would work. Banter has shown us that the personalities, the people, the souls would be great. But a soul comes with a person.
yeah.
So I mean, is his daddy gonna be like, and when he get on, you leave your ass for a white girl?
Ooh, yeah. His dad is not going to
I
like that at
mean, I'm
all.
sure his dad wants him to marry a nice
Yeah, I know
Nigerian
he.
woman, you know,
Yeah,
not this
I know.
older white lady from London. And she's European, right? Like she's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there,
She
yeah.
did.
So
Yeah,
British or British, whatever.
But I mean, in cover your ears, Doctor Umar. She is a brick house though. She is a powerhouse of a woman. She is something else. But no, I feel you that on so many levels it can't work. No,
It can't. It can't. But what? Okay, so what would Keely say?
Keely would. Okay, so Keely would tell her to do it.
What
I
would
feel
Roy
like
say?
Roy would probably be like, "Are you fucking mad?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those words, like that
yeah,
quote specifically. Are you fucking mad? Yeah, because whatever it is. But I already know Keely. Keely be like, yeah. I mean, he's a fit young, super
he
fit young
deserve
man.
happiness.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
because he asked what she was looking for, and she said love. I don't know,
yeah,
man. It's just so. See, this is the only problem with banter is that you can't do like you don't know anything. You just know the person. So there's no like I guess you can't filter by age or
mm,
or pay grade or any of that. It's just like what person do you enjoy? Now, the craziest part about this situation is that nobody considered this happening, this in particular,
yeah.
because Keely was like, all of you get on the app. You too, Rebecca.
Hmm. Like, so, like, just by like probability, it was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen. Well, okay, of course there are probably way more people on the app, sure, whatever. But like from the ground floor, she was like, "Hey, we just got this new thing. All of y'all get on it." So they were probably on it first before they started wearing it on their kit, and then
Mm.
everybody saw it and was like, "Oh, what is banter? Let me jump on it too." I don't know, man. It's just I was not expecting Sam. That's all I gotta say. And as
I was
much
not either.
as they have been talking about Sam through the last few episodes, it feels like we should have at least considered him. But no,
Hiding in plain sight.
right there. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. What do you think she's gonna
Yeah,
do? You think she's just gonna be like, "This can't work," or what?
I mean,
And
I'm a
if she just is like, "This can't work," and he says, "I didn't realize it was you," or whatever, are they still gonna be kinda, like, thinking about each other? Or at least thinking about the person behind the screen before I knew it was you?
I don't know. Like I'm inclined to believe that maybe something will happen, maybe a date or maybe more. But as far as like being together, I don't know. But I'm curious to see what that first meeting is going to look like because surely she's not going to say like, "Hey, by the way, come to the Richmond Stadium."
Yeah, come
Yeah,
upstairs, come to my
yeah,
office.
yeah. So they're going to meet in a neutral place, and he's probably going to be like, "Oh, Rebecca, what are you doing here?" And she's
I
like,
bet
"Oh,
it's gonna be like that. I'm waiting
yeah,
on, you know
yeah."
or they're gonna do something like, I'll be wearing a flower in my hair, something like that, and he's gonna be like, Rebecca? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. And I guess it's kinda cool too that they're doing this because they haven't shown any relationships outside of Keely,
Yeah,
right? Like, I mean, as far as the club goes. I mean,
mhm,
we've got Beard and of course we've got Higgins and his wife. And I get all that, but I'm saying as far as the players go, the only relationship we've seen is Keely, and that was both Roy and Jamie. But the rest of the guys, we haven't seen any of their love like well, except Danny Rojas, of course.
yeah,
Danny Rojas. But that wasn't even a relationship. That was just,
yeah,
him being a famous soccer player.
yeah,
So it would be interesting to see something outside of it, even though I don't think it's gonna stick, I guess, with Rebecca. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't
maybe it
know.
will.
But
We
what
shall
about
see.
Ted? What's gonna happen with Ted?
I mean, obviously he's going to have to unpack some stuff. So, um, typically when you unpack stuff, you start to realize what you can do without and what you don't need, and like you have more clarity. So, um, and yeah, my mind keeps going back to that. Like I'm starting to not be able to see a scenario where Ted is like, "Hey, I want to continue to do this."
I can't see it. I see, like I said, I can see that they are writing an exit for Ted. The team is going to be fine. Rebecca's gonna be fine. But his son and his ex-wife are at home, and he struggled to say he was like my wife, my ex-wife, his mom,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm thinking that is what triggered his panic attack. I could be wrong. I could.
No,
But I'm
that
thinking
makes
that's what
sense.
it was. And if that's the case, because he hasn't dealt with his divorce at all. He just kind of got divorced and was like, well, okay, I'm divorced and I'm in London. And that's kind of it, you know? And then, like I said, Christmas came, and I'm sure that was tough because not only could he not be with him, but the conversation was cut short because he wanted to go play because he's a child, you know?
Mm,
So I think it's like it might just be that feeling that he's doing okay without me, which is scary because it's not that he doesn't want him to flourish. It's just like, I don't want you to not need me because I'm your dad, or I don't want you to be okay with me not being there. Or I don't want it to be okay, period. Not with necessarily, I don't want you to be okay. I don't want it to be okay that I'm not there. It shouldn't be okay. It shouldn't be acceptable because I'm your dad. So I can't think of a scenario either where he's just like, this is gonna happen, especially if they keep winning,
mm.
because he's done his job. Honestly, he came to make the team better, and by recruiting Nathan, really, and then bringing Roy, he's done that. And Danny, and he got Jamie back.
So okay, so what if they move? But I don't know. Once again, that's almost like jumping. I was about to say parking the shark. That's almost like jumping the shark because it's almost like Scrubs when they made JD like I don't know the medical term, but you know, what's the like the residents, like the doctor that the residents are
The
under. Like,
attending.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's almost like when they made JD like that guy, and then they brought in like a new cast of people. Because I was about to say, like, what if they move Ted to like a front office role? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that would be like
They
jumping the shark in a major way.
they
But I could see that being like the conclusion for the show.
making a chaplain or some shit. I don't know. Just let him come give some pep talks before the game. Have him out there eating a W like Jameis. I don't know. Just have him there. You know, have him do what he do. But they could have him there in some capacity, even if it's just like the unofficial mascot or something. But
Mhm.
is that enough to keep you there?
No,
What is enough to keep him there if he's not the coach? What's stopping him
right.
from going home? Unless he's in love with Rebecca or so, I mean, I don't know. And again, they're not writing it in that way. And that could be to throw us off. I mean, it very well
Mhm,
could be. Because she's doing, I mean, she's doing what she do. She's getting her needs met, seems physically. She was getting them met emotionally with banter. I don't know how that's gonna go again. So mm, she's looking. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I know she's looking for love, and it doesn't feel like Ted's ready for that anyway. So putting them
no, he's
together would be
not.
kind of odd. I mean,
Yeah, and I
unless
never
they do it
expected
next
it to
season.
happen. Yeah, I was about to say I never expected it to happen this season anyway.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's something that'll be like, oh, we loved each other all along type thing.
I still would be okay with that. I think it honestly may be hard if they don't date Sam and Rebecca. If they don't date, I still think it's going to be awkward or maybe even hard to watch them together because
Mm,
they'll quietly be pining for each other, knowing that it doesn't work or that it won't work, but still knowing what it could be, you know?
mhm.
So I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works out. I will say that.
Yeah, so am I. So
So tell
yeah.
me, in soccer terms, how many games are left or whatever? Like what's next? What do they have to do to be promoted?
So they just have to finish like at the top of the league, which is the championship, and then they'll get promoted.
So they just so how many give me an estimate. How many games do they have left?
Yeah, did they tell us where they were? Like, did they give us like a month or something? I can't recall. But if I had to guess, I know we're on the other side of Christmas, so this
Yeah, I
would
can say I'm
likely be
thinking it's like
this would
February at the
likely be
latest.
yeah, I was about to say this would likely be February or March.
Like at the late. Well, he said March Madness, and maybe that was just a metaphor, or maybe
Yeah.
it's literally March.
Yeah, I feel like it would be around March if they're like okay, so they're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So yeah, it's likely around March leading into April.
Mhm.
The season concludes in May, so
Okay, so yeah, they're at the end. They're at the tail end of it.
yeah,
We shall see.
we shall see.
Um, do you think Nate's stuff is resolved though?
No.
His feeling inadequate and all that stuff on the team. You think that's going to come back, or do you think there's a good balance with him and Roy? Because Roy was very impressed, and he had no problem saying you did a great job. You know, like
Mm,
pretty much, I'm proud of you. That was a hell of a coaching job. And Nathan was just kind of like, I know, you know, it was a weird feel, but he, I don't know, it didn't seem as bad as it's been. I guess
but it's going to his head now though.
it is. He's going to expect them groupies.
Mhm.
I just hope he doesn't become ridiculous. Like just stay level, but I guess that's hard to do when you're not used to it, especially.
Yeah, I feel like with him, like I could, like it's gonna be wild to say this, but the wildest thing this show could do is have like another team hire Nate because he is on the scene now. He is
Ooh,
like
like as
because
head coach?
not maybe not even head coach, but like because like I don't want to like I just said everything about the FA Cup, but I don't want to underestimate like not even underestimate. I just don't want to like understate what they did because you have like this little measly team beating like what's a perennial like top six Premier League team. Like even if it is just the FA Cup, that's still pretty major. So and Nate was interviewed after that, so he is on the scene now. Like people know who he is now, so I could see maybe
The
teams teams
Wonder
coming to
Kid.
yeah. Which was such an asshole thing to do anyway, because in German it does like the German to English like it is Wonder Kid, so that was such a asshole thing to do.
Get that, but ain't he too old to be a wonderkind anyway?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how old Nate is anyway. I'm assuming like early
What?
30s.
But when I think wonderkind, I'm thinking like under 12, right? Like a child. I don't think a young adult is a wonderkind.
I don't know, like one of like the best managers in the world right now, like just turned 30, and they're referring to him as that. So I
That's a,
get it, I
let
guess.
me let me see what the definition is. Wonderkind.
But no,
Okay.
you are no, you are right.
No. Okay. It says a person who achieves great success when relatively young. So relative is the kicker.
Mhm.
So if he's relatively young for a soccer coach, then yeah, I guess. Is he relatively young for a soccer coach?
I mean, yeah,
Okay, well, Wonderkin, oh sorry, Wonder Kid, it is. Man, I hadn't even thought about him going to a new team. He better not. Do you think he feels any loyalty to Richmond
no, like Nate wants greatness, so he
and
just
groupies?
yeah,
Hmm, I don't want him to leave, but if it's good for him, I mean, I guess
he's gonna go to City.
that's because the way I pronounce it, it can't be right. It can't. But okay, I guess it is. So if he goes, does Roy just move to? Okay, so say Nate leaves. Just
Mhm,
hypothetically speaking here, Nate leaves and Ted is on medical leave.
mhm.
Does Beard become the coach, or
I
is Roy the
mean,
man?
it would be up to Rebecca, and she can hire Roy as the interim coach. So yeah,
All right then. Okay. What's
yeah.
Leslie's job? What is he? What is his real like? What's his title?
So he's director of football operations. So in American
Okay.
football, think of like the GM.
Okay. So but he doesn't make any decisions when it comes to staffing and.
So he manages like the finances,
Mm,
contracts. He sign like so for instance, um like let's say Ted is like, hey, I want this player. Leslie's job would be to evaluate that player to see if like the fee is worth paying, and then like basically going out to get that player.
that's why his vote had weight with Jamie.
Mhm.
Okay. Makes perfect sense now. Makes perfect sense because he was the thumbs up. We remember it. You were saying that Ted was going to be the tiebreaker, but I was like, I guess it could have been Leslie. Just got two votes,
Yeah,
really. But okay, cool. All right then. Well, that was episode 6. So
that
we've
is episode
got,
6.
is it 10 episodes or 8?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Okay, so we
Last
got
season
three
was 10
more.
as well. Yeah.
3 to go. Have you enjoyed the season so far?
I really have. I have. I know there are some people who may not like it, but to me, I think it's brilliant because it is basically exploring what was already there. So nothing they've done this season seems like out of character, basically, because the seeds were planted in the first season. This is just the continuation of that. Like, yeah, on the outside everything looks happy, but let's dig deep into like what's underneath. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the season as well.
The Christmas episode may have thrown a lot of people off because I was kind of like, "What are we doing?" But I still think that we've gotten quality content. I I, I still think it's really still one of the best shows I've ever seen. Still,
Hmm.
so I'm enjoying it very much. Hopefully, it ends well. And you said it's supposed to be 3 seasons. You sure? Like that's confirmed?
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis, like
Wow.
when it was renewed, he was like, "We're doing two more and then we're done."
All right. Well, it makes me happy in a way though. I'm not. I've gotten to the point where I don't get sad when shows end if they end well. I would much rather it end well than just, kind of go on and on and on and
Mhm,
on and on and run out of source material and then
mhm.
keep going. So I'm okay with it. But I hope that we still get content coming in because when one show ends, I need something else to, just as good or better to come up. So we'll see.
We got a lot of good stuff on the way. So just keep on the lookout for what we may recap next.
Yeah, we got an idea and it's gonna be exciting.
We have a few things in mind. So just keep listening. But also just let us know how you're liking Ted Lasso. So yeah,
Yeah.
just let us know your thoughts, your feelings, how you feel about season two in comparison to season one. Even though, as they say, let's not compare two bad bitches. But like, just let us know what you're thinking about season two. But
And if you
D, any
give us a
closing
good
thoughts?
tip, if you give us a good tip and you were right, we might let you come on here and run your victory lap. Maybe.
I don't know about all that.
Maybe. So let us know.
It's hard enough dealing with you as is. I don't need
Or
somebody
maybe
else.
start dancing again, brother.
Yeah, please stop. New flows coming. Be patient, brother.
Be
But
patient,
yeah,
brother.
but that is all that we have for this episode. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.